And so as Pastor Herman mentioned, we pull this from the book of Acts in Acts 2. And so if we move to the next slide, I can just read this for you. This is the early church. And so it says, a deep sense of awe came over them all, and the apostles performed many miraculous signs and wonders. And all the believers met together in one place and shared everything they had. They sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in need. And so this verse, they sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in need, that really shapes the heart of transforming communities. There are passages throughout the Bible that share this, but this is just one of them. We're hoping that our church will be one where we can pool our resources and our talent and our time and share it with those in this community and outside of our walls who are in need. And so as Pastor Herman said, if we move to the next slide, and the next one, we want to be a transformative Christian witness that reverberates throughout the Bay Area while we grow in our own faith and faithfulness. And so you may have seen me up here talking about transforming communities. We've done projects with schools and with homeless organizations and nonprofits in the past. And so, but behind the scenes, we've been doing a lot of work researching and trying to figure out how we're going to get more involved. And so where have we come from? You might remember that last summer we went through our life groups and we asked you to share in answer to this question. When you think about the pressures, issues, and challenges facing families in your community, what makes you angry or causes you pain? And in your life groups and through what we called house meetings, last summer we gathered hundreds of responses to this question. And we came to the top 5, which are education and equity, homelessness, affordable housing, youth death by suicide, and mental health. And as I see people nodding their heads out there, I think we have all been connected or touched in some way by one of these 5 issues. And they are all interrelated. And so my Transforming Communities team, which is comprised all of volunteers from this community, went out and researched these 5 issues. They looked at data and statistics. They looked at what organizations are already doing work in this area, and then they presented the pastors with recommendations on how we might intervene. And so they ended up presenting over 100 pages of research and over 60 resources that we could start with. And so we've decided that we're going to move forward with education. Now, many of you, we can applaud that, sure. What you might not know is that education in California is not that great. So as much, the students a lot of students are really struggling. So across the state, more than half their test scores are below proficient, more than half. And then those statistics get even greater when you look at low-income students and low-income students of color. And so it is just astronomical how much of an impact and intervening in education can make a difference. And so we're looking at K through 5 and K through 8 education. Because that's really where it starts. And the next slide shows just a roadmap of where the students are, which we call from cradle to career. So there are a lot of milestones, a few different milestones throughout their time in school that really make a difference. So one of them, 2 that we're going to focus on, is 3rd grade reading. So this is at the elementary level. And what they say is leading up to 3rd grade, you are learning to read. And then after 3rd grade, you're reading to learn. And so if you have not learned and you're not up to par by 3rd grade, you're always catching up and you're always behind. And another milestone is in middle school, so middle school math. Algebra is the gateway for getting into college and pursuing a higher degree. And so there are different pivot points up there, and we're going to focus on elementary and middle school math. And what that's actually going to look like goes beyond academics. And so we're going to do what is called wraparound services. And so the next slide shows different needs that these stakeholders have. We're looking beyond just the student. We're looking at students, parents, teachers, and admin to meet a variety of needs. So before these students even come to school, they're struggling with physiological needs. And this is, are they coming to school hungry? Do they have a sustainable place to live? For teachers, do they have a place to live? A lot of teachers are driving an hour, 2 hours away just to come to school and teach. And so what we saw is that the school really is a community where you end up seeing a lot of these issues, the 5 issues that I mentioned before, where you end up seeing homelessness and affordable housing. You see issues of mental health and emotional wellness all within the school. So beyond the physiological needs, we want to help partner alongside the emotional needs, and this is what I was talking about with mental health, and then finally coming in with academic needs. So whether that's helping with after-school tutoring or summer programs, there's a variety of things that we can do to help the whole child with these wraparound services to ensure that they're getting the best education. And so we're going to end up partnering with 1 to 2 schools here in the Bay Area, and partnering alongside them, working with other nonprofits and helping to provide these services. So what's coming next? My team is already moving forward and looking at what schools we might partner with, so we'll be doing that process over the spring. In the summer, we'll come back and announce to you who those partners are, and then in the fall, we'll kick them off with a 3-year partnership. And so we're looking long-term. This is not change that's going to happen overnight. We're also not looking to be a church that comes in and leaves right away. We're looking at really long-term and deep systemic impact. And so we want to keep you inside of this process. The next slide shows the districts that we're starting with. We took where the congregation lives and the hugest concentrations of where people live and mapped those against school districts. And so these are the top 9 school districts based on where people in our congregation live. And you can see it goes as far north as Redwood City, as far south as several districts in San Jose. And we'll be matching those schools and the districts against data like percentage of free and reduced lunch. We'll be meeting with the school leadership to see who might be the best fit for us. So how can you help right now? We want to know if you are involved in education. So the question is, do you currently work or volunteer in education in the Bay Area? And if that's you out there, and we would love you to respond. So if you would take your connection card, and in the response to the message section of the card, if you just write the word education, then my team would love to get in touch with you.